Welcome to Coming Out with Cannabis with your co-hosts, Christina D'Arcangelo Pooler and Wayne Kelly. This is Christina.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here today.
Hey, Christina, how are you doing?
I'm fantastic. It's Friday and the sun is shining in the greater Philadelphia area today.
Here in Harrisburg as well, it's about 55 today, so we can't complain about that, in February.
We're having a heat wave today.
That's true. Well, let's tell our listeners or viewers what we're about and why we're here and why they might want to listen to us or watch us in the future. Um, Go ahead and tell us why you got into medical cannabis and CBD.
Sure. Well, I'll start off and then I'm going to hand it back to you so that you can talk about your exploration and career endeavors in the medical cannabis space. But you know what? Before we start, why don't we tell people, our viewers, what they should hope to learn and what type of topics we may have on this, and why are we doing this? Why don't we start there and then get into why we're in medical cannabis?
Sure. Oh, absolutely. For me, it's all about education, and engaging the patient, empowering the patient. I share that often, whenever I speak or talk to somebody. We need to empower the patient with education. In medical cannabis, there's so many unknowns. So I believe it's up to, folks like you and I to help express what is known and also identify what is unknown. And in the process, it's teaching and learning and helping to educate, the patient. So it should be fun. I think that's why they should view and listen. We're going to uncover things. We're going to have data from research, and we'll discover things together.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, as you know, we have a lot of people that have been speaking to us as of lately. I don't know if it's because of our Cannabot, because we are the C-suite team for AIHO. I don't know if it's because of the research that we're doing with Affinity Bio, or if it's the nonprofit work that we do with APA,
Right.
Affinity Patient Advocacy. But a lot of people want to know what we think, and I'm honored, to be a thought leader and a pioneer, right, in this space.
Oh, absolutely.
And
I am
and
too.
and education, like you mentioned, is very important. A lot of the misconceptions, things that are being set out there, even down to CBD, having THC or not having THC. How does hemp work? How do we work within the Farm Bill? And there's so many things that we are lucky enough to be part of. DEA licensing for THC products, all kinds of really, really cool stuff. But this isn't all about us, right? This isn't the Christina and Wayne show, although it sounds
That's for
like
sure.
it. We have like 17 people already that want to talk on our show, because we've been talking to within our network,
Right.
about what we plan on doing. And we think it's important, right, to come out with cannabis. We came out.
That's right.
People know that we work in this space. We're not hiding in a closet, try to do things on the back end. We're out there full force. We're, talking to patients, talking to clients. I've testified how many times on behalf of medical patients for decriminalization.
Right. Well,
So,
and we're both medical cannabis patients, so we
right,
both know how the medication works for us.
right. I mean, good or bad, right? In the sense that we
True.
have to take it. We do take it, and we're new to taking medical cannabis. We've obviously have taken CBD, hemp derived, before.
Right.
Um, but unfortunately for us, with our therapeutic issues, it's a requirement for us to feel better, to be able to have that flux of THC at nighttime, to help
Right.
us with the
Oh,
inflammation.
I need a good night's sleep, and it certainly helps me. And like you said, the inflammation, the pain, and that's really a curse of mine is not sleeping well.
Right.
So fortunately, there seems to be something out there that helps, and I'm happy that myself as well as the other patients have that opportunity to receive it.
Yeah, we're lucky, right? We're lucky to be in Pennsylvania, and the fact that not only does Pennsylvania have the MMJ PA patient program, but they also have Chapter 20,
Right.
which obviously, although there's a lawsuit right going on right now with that, for us as clinical research people, we're excited about the Chapter 20 provisions, but we're also happy to be working with, say, the likes of Dr. Donner, with
Right.
a hemp-derived CBD product that doesn't fall under the Chapter 20, right? Because it's not cannabis, it does not have THC. It's just a proof of concept under an institutional review board study.
That's right. No, it's exciting stuff. We have a number of great things ahead of us. Fans, we have great ideas. Like I said, we already have a number of guests who want to come on and talk to you about their journey. Right before this call, I got a text message from a vet who wants to talk about his journey with medical cannabis and how it's helped him. So we'll talk about that here in the coming episodes. We're very excited to share what we know about data collection, about clinical trials, about medical cannabis in general, and how our Cannabot is going to help serve this industry as well and the community.
Right. I think we're very fortunate. We're in a place of, you hear me say this all the time, the full life cycle of
Right.
having companies that support medical cannabis. I mean, we have the nonprofit Affinity Patient Advocacy that provides the advocates to patients at no cost, both traditional based patients as well as medical cannabis and CBD. We have Affinity Biopartners, which is the leading cutting edge CRO that has a full enterprise to be able to run all of these clinical research
Oh yeah.
studies in cannabis and CBD, backing the foundation that we've had as being traditional healthcare people for, more than 2 decades. So
Hmm.
we're very lucky, And then lastly, we have the tech company,
That's
AI
right.
Health Outcomes, with our subsidiary, the Cannabot, which I'm excited. We'll have the Cannabot make some surprise appearances on this call.
That's right.
Um, and we, that people just love the Cannabot. Yeah, any of the patients that interact with it thus far, and potential clients that have interacted with our Cannabot, the Cannabot, it's a winner. It's
Uh,
the true self-care item and education piece for medical cannabis and CBD patients.
Oh yeah, I'm very excited. As you know, Christine, and many of the folks who may be listening or watching don't. I'm the data guy, so I'm the one who tests and gets to work out with the Cannapod. I guess that's what I'll call it, work out or work her out, it out. And so I'm working out all the bugs and the kinks, and it is very exciting as we enter more information and as the AI collects the data and I get to test and work it out, air quotes, I shouldn't do it as often as I do. Um, I'm learning a lot, personally, and in fact, as I'm testing it, sometimes I test it in my home office. My wife will even say how exciting it is and how she wants to start asking it questions. So yes, people do, they relate to it. I believe the ease of use is going to be very handy, and I think people are going to really like it, and ultimately not just use it, but as a resource, but rely on it is what my hope is.
Absolutely. The Cannabot's a tool for these patients to help them navigate successfully through the medical cannabis and CBD endeavors. There's a lot of false information out there. There's
Yeah.
information that's not necessarily true. It could be skewed depending upon who it is that wrote it. Um, and our information that is in the Cannabot is non-biased. We have nothing to gain out of it.
Hmm.
The
That's right.
information that's being populated. We have SMEs, subject matter experts that will be involved in and have been involved thus far with the build of the AI portion of the Cannabot, but all of the clinical research. That's really exciting to be
Oh
able
yeah.
to use the bot in that manner, especially since one of the major issues from an enrollment and data collection standpoint, which I know you appreciate being a data person, is the patient compliance. And
Absolutely.
with the Cannabot, we're kind of removing some of that away from the patient directly, in the sense that they are not going to have to carry around a piece of paper to answer questions and then bring it back to the physician office, hopefully remembering. They're not going to have to be on an internet website trying to respond to questionnaires. The Cannabot will come to them as we program it at certain times of the day. And then they have the Cannabot to talk to throughout the duration of the protocol if they have questions regarding the medicine, what they should be expecting if they have an adverse event. All of those things can be captured with our Cannabot.
Absolutely. No, exciting stuff all around. And I know we don't want to spend a whole lot of time on any one subject,
Right.
but I do want to go back to why did you get into this business?
Yeah, so it was interesting. It was because of my nonprofit, Affinity Patient Advocacy, and it was based on the fact that I was a keynote speaker for Relay for Life, and I was talking about my journey as a caregiver to my dad, who incidentally had passed away in 2015 from stage 4 liver, lung, and stomach cancers. And so when I talked about that and then starting a nonprofit to help patients, try and give back in a positive manner to patients who need help, a dispensary was following what we were doing and looked into who the CEO was for APA, figured out I was a clinical research person because that's really what I am. And,
True.
and asked for a call, and it turned out that they had a grow that they wanted to turn into a pharma biotech grow, a good manufacturing process grow, and potentially file a application for drug an IND. And that's how it all started. And that's when my light bulb went on, and I thought, I can actually bring all these skill sets that I've had over the years, right, to this industry, and make sure that we're doing everything in the proper way under good clinical practice, Code of Federal Regs, FDA guidelines, etc., and not get it caught up in red tape, right? Because we all know the biotech pharmaceutical industry, device sectors get caught up in red tape a lot of times. And I'm not suggesting that we do that, but we have to follow regulations. So we have to know where the drug is coming from. We have to know that if something's being white labeled, where are they getting it from? Are they getting it from China? So those are the things that, we keeps us up at night, as you know, Wayne.
That's right.
But that's how I got in the industry. Pardon me. And, back then it wasn't popular to be in this space. And you know what? I really didn't care, because I was fortunate to have built years of being in the biotech industry and pharmaceutical space and CRO, that I knew that if I decided to do this, I at least had merit behind my name.
Right.
People knew who I was in the space, especially from an outsourcing perspective. So I felt comfortable to just jump in. And so I did, and I didn't look back. And I just love where we are now compared to where we were, and
I agree.
33 states, and DC and the Virgin Islands, and, all this stuff. And Europe, what happened yesterday with the parliament, and Israel now exporting, and all these things that we're paying very close attention to, and like what colleagues are doing in Malta, say. It's an exciting time in this industry. And, we weren't jump offs. We didn't jump into this industry to make the green rush money, because it's just ludicrous to think that there's a green rush. It's not happening. Okay, folks, this is all hard work.
That's correct. Well, I appreciate you sharing that testimony, basically, as to why you're in this industry, in this space. And, I think that's why we both work well together. We're here to help patients, and personally, for me, it's all about fighting the opioid epidemic.
Right.
And, and what I bring from traditional and the experience of data collection and submission to CMS and the Joint Commission. In healthcare, traditional healthcare, we have performance-based measures. How long did it take a patient to wean from the ventilator, or, you measure your pressure ulcer success rate, by the depth and width of the it's really disgusting. I won't get into that. But, so there's pressure ulcer measures and, aspirin at arrival and this kind of stuff that is really regulated and measured. In medical cannabis, we don't have that yet.
Mm-hmm.
And here in medical cannabis, I believe it's going to be mostly patient-reported outcomes. It's going to be patient observation that reports the data that I'm looking for. It's not going to be those performance-based measures like being able to visibly see how small a pressure ulcer has gotten, or how long it took to wean a patient from the ventilator. It's going to be, okay, patient A, how well did this medication work for you in these symptoms? And that's the data that's going to really move mountains in not only medical cannabis, but traditional medicine.
Right,
So
right. And
that's
they're
the good stuff.
testing, right?
Oh
What's
yeah,
going on with their blood tests and their levels, and what's the indication that they're taking medical
right.
cannabis for? So it's all obviously different, but just seeing the improvements. I mean, I know for myself, from my own experience, I had my blood work done in November for my thyroid, and I'm back to a normal level. When in February I was four times the normal level, and now I'm at a normal level. Now
Mm-hmm.
that's because I have to take my medical cannabis and my CBD during the day and my med cannabis at night. Um,
Right.
but it's helped me tremendously. And, I probably watch things a little more closely than the average patient because of the
I think
clinical
you do.
stuff I do. I'm like keeping my own patient diary in my phone and stuff. But which I would normally just talk to our Cannabot, right? And the Cannabot could record it all for me. But not to plug the Cannabot, but really that's what could do. Um, but yeah, it's really
But we will.
important, and this is the stuff that we need to make sure we measure. And one of the things that you always say is that you have nothing unless you have your data,
That's
and
right.
that's exactly, that's where we are in this industry. And I'm happy that we have so many people that are strong supporters, say, of clinical research and data and studies, and they're not viewing it as a red tape situation. I mean, how can you get a fast track approval like it just came out yesterday, medical cannabis company for MS without having
Right.
data, right? And clearly demonstrates that the FDA is very much interested in these studies. And, the FDA is who they are. They have to govern and protect the patient's welfare. Of course they
Mm-hmm.
do. That's their number one thing. But secondarily, they are supporting medical cannabis research. And
That's
that's what's
right.
important to hear out there, because there's a lot of things that we all see on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, Twitter, where people are talking about, well, I can't use my medical cannabis for this or that. Well, it's because there hasn't been clinical research for that, whatever this or that is. And you
Right.
can't go to a primary care physician right now in the state of affairs and say, I want to take medical cannabis for my GI, my gastrointestinal reflux problem. It's not going to happen. But eventually we will become mainstream, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The very intriguing thing to me about our opportunity, not only in research, data collection, but this industry in general, is we have just an absurd opportunity to do things right at the beginning. So
Right.
we're going to do things the right way at the beginning of this industry. We're going to be able to use the latest technology to collect data. We're going to be able to use, the latest protocols for research, and everything is just so new, brand new, that not many people have messed up yet. So, for example, coming from traditional, in my traditional space, patient satisfaction and submission to CMS, they're using legacy systems of data collection and mandating that those legacy systems on our short stay hospitals. And I won't get on my soapbox about this, but the problem is these legacy systems of data collection do not meet the means of today. And here in medical cannabis, we don't have that problem because there's no legacy systems in place yet.
Right.
So, as a team, our CRO, our advocacy group, and our technology group, we can create the technology and use that technology to do, substantial research and do it right the first time.
Right. And the difference too, I think, about us as the C team is that we're listening. We actually
Right.
listen to what people tell us. We're listening to the patients actively. We're actively listening. We're paying attention what's going on across the entire world. And I mean world in cannabis.
That's
As you
true.
know.
That's
Because
true.
I'm always talking to you guys about, hey, did you see that? Blah 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 with blah blah blah. Yeah,
Hmm.
we're paying attention, but we're making sure that we're staying ahead from a cutting edge standpoint where, we're the first AI bot right now. which is huge. And there'll be
Right.
people behind us, I'm sure,
Oh, sure.
as they try to figure things out. But for us, we're
Hmm.
ahead of the curve, and
I think so.
we're really here for the right reasons. We're here to help patients. We of course have bills to pay, and we have
Mhm.
things to support from a company standpoint, and their
I-
educational endeavors and nonprofits and
Absolutely.
such. But we're here for the right reason, and that, I think, is another reason why we wanted to do this this YouTube channel and do our video casts and our
Yep.
podcast and our live streaming, because it's time for us to come out from behind our desks.
Hmm.
People are asking us to do this. Um, you're going to be sorry now, because every week you'll be tuning
You'll
in.
see us,
but
but we're
but we
going to
want
have fun.
right. We want people to know that we're completely approachable. I mean, we're normal people. I mean, here you are in your little hoodie thing there
Hey,
with your
don't,
little
don't.
drawstrings and stuff, and I have
Yeah.
LuLaRoe tights on today, and a black shirt, because I always wear black. It's very
Uh,
flattering. But
uh,
we're normal people, and we really, really, we want even patients to come on that we've
oh,
been
absolutely.
supporting. Yeah, and to talk, to us about how they feel now, and lots of people have been reaching out to us about things that they need help with from an advocacy standpoint. So I'm happy. I'm so happy about that, because that means that people know about us. So that means that we're doing the right things, and that's what's
Yeah.
important to us, right, as a management team.
Mhm. Well, I saw recently you were able to reach out to a patient that was on the Pittsburgh Sensi uh, Facebook group,
Yeah.
so that hopefully we'll be able to help her as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're here for, right? And
Mhm.
there was somebody else that posted something this morning on one of those pages that had questions about breast cancer and medical cannabis. So
Mhm.
I wrote in, because I happened to see it. So I wrote in and said, "What are you looking for treatment options? What are you looking?" Because we asked Dr. Donner to join
Mhm.
us on these advocacy cases. When we need a physician, because I'm not a physician, as you know, even though people
That's
think
right.
I'm a doctor. I'm not a doctor. I didn't go to med school. I just happened to pick up stuff because of clinical research stuff that I've been doing. But we bring Dr. Donner in, and he joins the medical team, and I stay on, or someone else in our group stays on as the actual advocate on their
Right.
behalf. So we think about things so they don't have to worry about it. So they can go to sleep at night, because they know that we're engaged and
Mhm.
we'll help them as we can.
That's that's right. And I think it's important for the patient or listeners to know that if we don't know the answer and you need help, we're going to find the folks that do know the answer or that can uh, offer the help that you need. If Christine and myself and our groups cannot help, we'll make sure that we can find help.
Absolutely. I mean, we're lucky that we have the network of professionals. And even, in the traditional space, we still help a lot of traditional patients that aren't
That's true.
cannabis. So it's not like we would ever turn anybody away that's a traditional patient, because that's how we started off. It was traditional. Um, it,
Absolutely.
we launched basically on cancer. That was our main focus, because of my dad's stuff. But
Mhm.
we've helped patients, as you know, with MS, autism, epilepsy, all kinds of different therapeutic areas. And
That's right.
we of course, our sweet spot. Not that it's like a good way to have a sweet spot, of course. It's not like a Hershey bar, but it's always been cancer, because of the fact that a lot of us that are on the board have been in oncology research for years and years and years, myself
Well, and we've all, I'm not going to say all of us, but many of us have lost family members and friends to that horrible disease. So
absolutely.
it's
And
that's at our heart's soul.
right. And like even now, especially with the suicides and mental health and all those things that have been happening, with patients, that's another
Right.
area with APA that we've been really focused on, trying to help people, because suicide is final. And if there's a way that we can help make someone's life a little bit easier, then, we will. And that kind of goes back, it does tail back to Cannabot again, because if a patient has access to a bot 24/7 that they can talk to about things that they're feeling, especially when
Right.
it comes to a mental health issue, there's that escalation parameter. So if they say certain words, the bot will pick up on it and then escalate it back into the nurse or whomever it is that's the subscriber, which I think is important.
Oh, I believe so too. And I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on our first run. I think we
Right.
covered a lot of things, and I think we're doing pretty good, folks. So we're not going to jinx it. Is there anything else we should do here, Christina, before we hang up, or whatever the sign off is for these podcasts, vlogs, or video casts, whatever you want to call it?
You're
We just want to.
too old. We're not old, okay?
We're not old. We're not, and I think the vlog hides my grades.
Well, I wanted to say too that we're going to talk about fun stuff, guys, not just like this clinical stuff and the serious stuff. We're going to have cannabis chefs on that may want to
right.
share secrets on how they make edibles, say, or smoothies. I love smoothies.
CBD tea.
Yes,
CBD tea time.
Right? We won't say whose CBD tea we're drinking right now, right?
Not yet.
But eventually we will. And, things that we may have heard of that might be something we want to discuss.
Updates.
Yeah, like this recreational movement, right, in Pennsylvania. We're not even going to go there right now, guys.
Not yet.
We could talk about that for, 2 hours or so, and then people are going to be bored. We don't want you to be bored. But we want you to dial in or listen in every or whatever, however you're going to watch us on your smartphone, whatever. But tie in with us. And if there's things you want to know from us, you can contact us directly, because we're going to be opening up the YouTube page. We'll have a Facebook page. We'll push this out through all of our social media endeavors. We want to hear from you, and we're really happy to do this. This is going to be fun, and I think people are going to have fun with us.
I think so too. Our guests we'll make sure of it, and hopefully have some on the road podcasts as well. But like Christina said, look us up, follow us on YouTube. The channel name is Coming Out with Cannabis. I believe right down there maybe is going to be a like button. Make sure you follow us or over there. Like or follow right at the bottom of this video on our YouTube channel. And, maybe we'll have you on. If you're a patient or someone in the industry, contact us. Let's talk. Let's see what we can do together and have some fun doing it. So anyway, Christina, would you like to, say goodbye and have us out of here?
I guess so.
We're going to have some music. So we'll have some so long music. Oh, maybe we'll do some Van Halen Happy Trails or something.
Or maybe our Cannabot will come on and say, it's time, folks.
That's
have a
good
green
idea.
day.
All right. We'll work on that one. We will work on that.
Because she says that to us. So maybe will be our sign off today. Thank you for joining Wayne Kelly and myself, Christina DiArcangelo Puller. And as always, try and have a green day. Thank you, folks.
Take care.